inside the NBA, I'm happy it's still going on.
Yeah, I'm happy it's going on, but it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, this would be.
ESPN has a great relationship with the NBA, and they said, "Yeah, we'll bring that show over. You won't see it as much. Put it on the shelf a little bit." It felt very, very big at one time, and now it's invisible. So I don't know. I'm just saying conjecture, but I know there were people upstairs in the NBA office that didn't like how they lampoon the league and some of the players.
When you talk about the loudest, most influential voice in basketball over the last 20 years, there's honestly no debate. Charles Barkley stands alone, not just because he's funny, but because he's fearless. He says things nobody else on TV dares to say anymore. Alongside Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, and Shaquille O'Neal, Barkley helped turn Inside the NBA on TNT into the greatest studio show the league has ever seen. And that's not nostalgia. That's reality.
Yes, sir. Captain Ernie, sir.
Is that Derek White or Stephen A? Damn, Stephen A. Stephen A played for the Celtics.
The magic was never just chemistry. It was honesty. Nothing scripted. Nothing rehearsed. When the product was bad, they said it. When stars play it, because we're watching the same games with our own eyes. Now pause right there.
You got a guy making $85 million and he says, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna play back-to-back games. It's ridiculous to think fans are gonna pay as much as it costs to go to games now. And now you're gonna have to go out and start doing streaming going forward.
Because this is where things get interesting. Inside the NBA has officially moved from TNT to ESPN. Same cast, same setup, same legacy, but one massive difference jumps off the screen. These four legends are barely on TV, maybe once a month if you're lucky. So far this season, they've appeared only 4 times total. 4, that's it. Ask yourself this. Why would ESPN acquire the most respected studio show in basketball, then quietly hide it? The answer isn't complicated. It's political. ESPN answers to Disney. Disney is partnered with the NBA, and the NBA is run by Adam Silver. Everyone involved is protecting the same
One. Oh, and the dude could have got a layup
on the Knicks.
And he went out to the three-point line. It was a 2-on-1.
Louder than anyone else. Charles Barkley? No sugarcoating, no fake smiles, no playing nice for TV. He flat out said the product was slipping. He said the stars weren't delivering night after night. He said the league had real problems that nobody wanted to address. And here's the uncomfortable part for a lot of people. He was right. Every critique Barkley made landed. Every point hit close to home. Fans felt it. Players felt it. And most importantly, the league felt it. And that kind of honesty?
I heard JJ Redick said something about me. JJ, you better calm down, because when you come for the king, you better not miss.
Did he name you specifically, or was he just talking about folks on TV?
What did he say? He said something about we're the reason people ain't watching this crappy product we got. I said, JJ. Yeah, us, like we out there jacking up 100 threes a night. JJ. I don't know Jason Monroe. I don't know who that is, but JJ, if you come for the king, you better not miss.
That's dangerous to people protecting a brand. So let's be real. That truth didn't sit well with NBA leadership at all. Adam Silver, league executives, even some players and coaches, Barkley being that accurate definitely rubbed them the wrong way. So what do you do when someone keeps exposing flaws you don't want exposed? You don't debate him. You don't fix the product. You silence him, and the move was simple. Get Barkley off TNT, bring Inside the NBA under ESPN control, then quietly bury the show so it barely exists. Once-a-month appearances, minimal exposure, out of sight, out of mind, same show, same legends. But suddenly no voice. That wasn't accidental, that was strategy. And that's what happens when telling the truth starts hurting the business side of basketball. Telling the truth costs the NBA money.
But how has Anthony Edwards regressed?
Because he's taken too many threes, in my opinion.
Way too many.
Because Ernie, when he's such a terrific player, if you're guarding him, you want him shooting threes.
Last year, Charles Barkley's blunt criticism hit the league straight in the wallet. Casual fans started checking out. Skepticism went up. more people started asking uncomfortable questions about the product, and that's terrible for business. Fast forward to now. Inside the NBA on ESPN has been a complete non-factor, no presence, no momentum, no real influence, a legendary show reduced to background noise. Call it a conspiracy if you want, but look at the connections closely. ESPN is owned by Disney. Disney does business with the NBA. And the NBA answers to Adam Silver. Different logos, same priority.
They got some really great players today, but it's really just become a three-point shooting contest.
Protect the brand. Protect the revenue. And Barkley's critiques of the modern game, they don't help that mission. They heard it. That's the real issue nobody wants to say out loud. Now zoom out for a second. Across NBA media, when you talk influence, reach, and impact, nobody touches Barkley, not even close. Is he always right? No. Is he always honest? Absolutely. That's what separates him from the rest. Look at coverage on ESPN, NBC, or Amazon Prime Video, high production value, clean visuals, but the analysts, mostly company guys, praising the product, offering soft critiques, playing it safe. A lot of them are former players who retired less than 5 years ago. They still know the stars personally, still train with them, still text them, still share agents. So of course, they won't go hard. That's where Barkley is different. He retired in the early 2000s. He doesn't have personal ties. He doesn't owe favors. He doesn't protect feelings. And that distance? That's exactly why his voice still matters more than anyone else's. And that distance? That's his greatest strength. People calling games on NBC or Amazon Prime Video know these players personally. And yeah, that's great off the court. Relationships, access, comfort. But when it comes to an objective breakdown of what's actually happening on the floor, that connection absolutely skews things positive. They're not trying to burn bridges. They're not trying to offend guys they might train with next summer. They're not trying to upset players they text every week. And that matters more than people want to admit. Now pause right there. This brings us back to Inside the NBA on ESPN during one of its rare appearances this season. And if you saw that clip, Charles Barkley did what he's always done. He kept it real. No filters, no PR tone, no corporate smile. And like the old saying goes, sometimes the truth stings. One of the people clearly bothered by it, Kevin Durant. Let's just say it. KD has always been sensitive, and this time was no different. Charles cracked a joke about a Washington Wizards versus Charlotte Hornets game, and guess what? He wasn't lying. For 99.9% of Americans, even if you handed them free tickets, they still wouldn't go out of their way to attend that game. That's not it. That's lazy criticism. Yes, Charles jokes. Yes, he calls out nonsense. Yes, he criticizes bad basketball when he sees it, but here's what people conveniently ignore. He gives plenty of praise when it's earned. This season alone, he's shown love to Stephen Curry, Nikola Jokic, and even rookie Victor Wembanyama when they've delivered. Here's the difference that separates Barkley from everyone else. Charles rewards performance, not reputation. What he refuses to do is hand out fake compliments, protect egos, or lie to fans just to spare feelings. And that's exactly why his voice still hits harder than anyone else on NBA television. If you want analysts who smile through everything, dodge tough conversations, and pretend the league has zero flaws, cool, that world exists. He's the counterweight to the toxic positivity that's taken over basketball media. Look at coverage on NBC or Amazon Prime Video. Everything is glowing. Everything is amazing. Every night feels like a celebration. And after a while, it stops feeling authentic. It feels forced, like hype for the sake of hype. Can you praise great basketball? Of course. Should you celebrate elite performances? Absolutely. But can you also criticize players when they're lazy, when habits hurt the game, when the product clearly slips? That's where most networks fall short. Now looking ahead, when it comes to Inside the NBA on ESPN, fans only want one thing. Don't change them. Let them be who they've always been. The problem is, that hasn't happened. Instead, ESPN sidelined them, muzzled them, and practically removed their voice for the entire first half of the season. And if you look back at last year, it's obvious why. Barkley went straight at the league. He called out the all-star format. He criticized stars sitting games instead of playing. He questioned the league's obsession with threes. He pointed out how repetitive the product had become, game to game, week to week, month to month. None of that was random. None of it was reckless. It was honest. And honesty is dangerous when you're trying to sell perfection. That's why Barkley isn't just another analyst. He's a pressure test. He exposes what's real and what's fake. And that's exactly why silencing him, even quietly, says way more about the league than it ever will about Charles Barkley himself. That's all on record. None of this is speculation. None of it is guesswork. It's documented. It happened in real time. Now let's be crystal clear about one thing. Charles Barkley isn't on TV to break down pick and roll coverages. He's not drawing defensive rotations on a touchscreen. That's never been his role, and it never needed to be. His value is something much bigger. He calls out players when they're wrong. He calls out the league when it's wrong. And most importantly, he says what fans are already thinking, but almost never hear on national TV. That's Barkley at his absolute best. And so far on ESPN, that version of Barkley hasn't been allowed to exist. He was basically wiped from the screen for half the season. Minimal appearances, minimal impact, minimal voice. That doesn't just happen by accident. In my mind, that was deliberate. A calculated move to protect Adam Silver and the NBA brand from uncomfortable conversations. But here's the part nobody can control. Fans aren't dumb, the issues are still there, and the product watching, hope you enjoyed it. And if you want real NBA talk without corporate spin, hit subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.